How are you doing? Good to see you. I'm going to sit in today. Is it raining?
That's what I just asked.
Or did you just jog through here?
Yes, I just got all wet.
You exercising today, you know?
That's right.
I swear I just came from outside. I don't think it was raining.
No, it started coming down as I walked out the office. It's sprinkling, and then by the time I got down, it was doing this. So.
Okay. Your name has come up in an investigation work, and like I was telling you earlier, it's nothing criminal and nothing like that.
Okay.
But it has popped up, and how it's popped up is information it's information that was supposedly told from you to someone else, and then from someone else it got to another person.
Okay.
Okay. This information being about an investor.
About an investor. Okay.
About an investor. Do you have any about Kurt Tran being an investor at the new Criminal Justice Academy?
Do I did I say something about it?
Well, that's what
I said something about it.
This is we heard that you had
that maybe you had been told, and then you passed on to someone else, and that person maybe we have to follow the breadcrumbs.
Right. It was my understanding that he was.
Okay.
Did I say something to somebody about it? I don't know.
I mean,
I didn't know it was a secret.
Right. That's
what we're trying to get at.
Matter of fact, I think I was told that by Norgine or Roger. I think one of them said something about it when the whole thing about the IT Federal was blowing up. That's how I think I found out. I think one of the reporters told me that was behind it. But
okay. Did Jennifer ever say anything to you about kind of the dealings? Because I mean, you guys went to school together.
Right. She's a couple years behind me, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jennifer and I are we're fairly close, but she ever tell me? I don't think she's ever said anything. I might have asked her. I don't know how I know. I mean, I thought it was Norma Jean or Roger or somebody when they were kind of trying to tie the Kurt to the
Police Academy.
No, about just that he has a business out. He had the website that he has with for something out on
Lotus.
Yes, with the land out
Millennial
there.
Lotus. Is that the land that's prior to Swan Farm?
Yes.
Or excuse me,
something up there.
It's on the left-hand side of Happy Creek before you get to Mary Shady's.
Yeah, he had a website that says something about having an organic farm or raising animals. I don't even remember what it was. And at the producers, because Norma Jean was the one who was really pushing this whole thing, her and Roger at the Examiner, and then bringing it up to us about the IT Federal website itself, and Kurt being involved with that. And then of course the anonymous donation for the Academy. But yeah, I don't think Jennifer ever told me that.
About the anonymous donation?
I mean, I know about the anonymous donation, but I don't think she ever was upset who was the anonymous donor.
You don't know who the anonymous donor was, or do
I'm
you?
assuming it was Kurt. That's because that's what I heard.
Okay.
But I don't remember Jennifer McDonald saying it was Kurt Tran. I just assumed everybody kind of knew that because that was like the worst kept secret in town.
Right. I agree with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, it did get out there, but you know, as we said, you know, Norma Jean and Roger, you know, are digging in.
Yeah.
They're digging in, and so now it's just. I guess you have a lot of clients at Edward Jones, so is this something that maybe you could have told to one of them about Kurt Tran?
If they asked the questions, I mean, you didn't know that it was. I mean, I never knew that either. You know.
would I have told? Not in the course of like the business. I mean, I would have said something. If I had said something, it was talking about who gave the money and actually why was it. I do remember having, I don't remember who it was with, something to the effect of why would it be an anonymous donation? I was like, I don't know, because they don't want to let people know. And I don't know if I said it was Kirtran or not, because I don't want to sound like sketchy, but I just don't really remember. It's not been that
Right.
It's not that important in my life.
Right. Okay. So, obviously, you had known about this prior because of the Norma Jean, Roger Bianchini.
Yeah, but I was on the
putting it
council
out
at the
there.
time too. When she came to me about it.
About with the
About
IT
like just
federal.
the IT stuff, yeah, IT federal, and with Bevan saw that, and I mean, I was on the council, so I was kind of in the know anyway, or kind of felt like I should have been in the know. So, but yeah.
Are you aware of anything that's going on with the EDA currently?
No, that's why I'm actually really confused about what we're having a conversation about.
I mean, you're not aware of anything, any kind of threats to the EDA or anything like that?
No more than what I talked to you about my own, and I know Jennifer's been under a lot of threats from that. And either you or Danny had deputies up watching her house for a while. I know that part.
Yeah, if it's going to be at her house, it's going to be definitely deputies because she lives in the county.
Mm-hmm.
She lives just.
Yeah. I mean, I know she found a knife on her chair. She told me that, which was kind of weird because unless Missy has something out for her, who would have gotten in there to put a knife on there? But otherwise, no.
The knife in her chair, was that her in her desk?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was just weird because I guess the office was locked and she came in. And I don't remember if she said it was like a steak knife or it was just a butter knife, but it was not supposed to be there.
Right.
And Missy said she didn't do it, obviously, and
Right.
I'm fairly sure Marla didn't do it. So
did Jennifer at that time have any suspects on who had put the knife there? I mean, if it was supposed to be a threat to her, or
she kind of thought it was a throwaway a little bit, although she was. I mean, it was odd because it was all happening when that crazy guy was.
Matthew Burdick.
But he had already left or had been already in Chicago or wherever when this happened. So, but otherwise, she didn't really. I mean, we're not close enough. She was giving me secret. I mean, developing our personal feelings about things. I just happened to be in the office over at the EDA at the time, and the day after or that day of that happened. I kind of forgot about that too.
When's the last time that you spoke to Jennifer?
I think at the Rotary board meeting, so that would have been June 25th or something like that.
Okay, did she say if there was any other kind of happenings surrounding her or anything like that?
Because it was a Rotary board meeting, so that's all we were talking about is Rotary stuff, and I was with Rick Novak and Kim Crump and others that were on our board. So and I've been out of town since then. So
Vacationing.
Work stuff. So I just got back in on Monday, and I haven't talked to her since. So.
And has there been anything else that you've heard about going on at the EDA? Anything else? You heard about a knife in her chair. Has there been anything else that you've heard of going on there?
No, I don't know any. I mean, I don't know anything about. What was it? Well, this morning, I guess somebody said something about the controversy over there, but I just assumed it was about these allegations that like Bevan has made about. And I don't know what, even if there's corruption there, I think Bevan's allegations are as much about incompetence than anything else. So, so no, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, or Bevan, I think, was more digging into the workforce housing. And
yes, that's right.
That's kind of what she's been. Or that's been the recent hot topic that.
Yeah.
It was a bit when I was still on the council. It was brought up about the IT stuff, IT federal and the visas and all that kind of stuff. But I think John and I I thought we put the kibosh on it to some extent, but on that allegation, but the workforce housing stuff. And I know that her the Campbells own that property, and I know that there's questions about whether or not why and who knew what.
deadline and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, why the money, why nobody knew that the money was going to be.
Well, it was a gift, but it had to be closed and started.
And do I remember Jennifer telling us that at a closed meeting or at a meeting? No, but I could tell you that there's probably 90% of what I was told in the past 4 years I don't recall. And I always had, my argument has always been that Bill Seelock sat on that board for several years, and he's now on the council, and I think Bill's a man of integrity, and I can't imagine something like that happening with his oversight. So I don't know if that's what you're looking at or not, but I do know that.
I mean, we can't tell you exactly what the case is. It is a criminal case that we're actually working up there. A crime has occurred, and it's just when someone mentions one avenue, then we have to follow that avenue. And this is one of those avenues that, where the information come from through here, if it's not supposed to be men, is someone trying to cover up something on this end and that's basically kind of what we're asking is, you can play telephone and the story kind of changes each of the time. Okay, so we can backtrack from this person to this person to you, who told you, and, so forth.
So on that workforce housing, I knew from the beginning that the Campbells were making this gift, that Jennifer told me that of all there was very limited in places that they could, which is the same as been in the paper, but that's what she told me at the beginning, because and that the town, matter of fact, wanted a light and everything else put there, and EDA was, we were fighting back and forth, we were having a conversation back and forth about whether or not they should put a light there for that and whatnot. That land was we knew that land was related, or that the Campbells owned that land.
The Campbells live right next to it.
Okay.
Right up there.
They could walk up to me and introduce me. I wouldn't know. I haven't seen her aunt since she sold my parents their house on Wine Street in 1976, and it was probably the last time I saw the woman, so I wouldn't know what she looked like. So I met her, but I also don't. I wouldn't know that they were her niece, and I mean, I don't know if he's related to Hollis.
I don't know how that is.
Hollis is her cousin.
Through marriage is what. It could have been misquoted in the paper, Royal Examiner, but it was through marriage.
Jennifer to the Campbells.
Yeah, or no, not Jennifer to
Hollis.
To Hollis, yes, it was through marriage. Is what the paper had what they said. But what we're really looking into, what we're curious about was the investor, the Kurt Tran thing. That's what we're that's what we're focusing. That's why you're here. That's why we're trying to get at it, because this is. And for
I met him one time. If I met him, and that was at the groundbreaking.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, it has been pretty much put out there that Tran was the backer at the. It's been out there that Tran is the backer of the police academy, but hasn't been made public yet, and it just, so we had gotten some, obviously, as the courts, they would say it was hearsay. So we're obviously following up with you on it. If you had could have told somebody that, in fact, Kurt Tran is the backer at the.
Well, I would never have said it in any definitive way, because I don't know that.
But it could be, if you had said something that had been misconstrued. As that.
It could have been, and I think I got it from your Roger Normagine. I think.
Okay. So
I don't know who else would have gotten
it. So Jennifer's not. I mean, because what I understand, you and Jennifer are pretty close from growing up, and you guys
that would make sense. So
you guys are on the.
Stop on that.
You guys are on the Rotary.
Yeah.
You guys are on the Rotary together. Same, same type functions and things like this. That she could have let it, told you, and let it slip to you, and you could have.
She could have, but I don't remember her saying that, because I remember, she's been, especially when it came to IT Federal, she's been very tight-lipped about all of because the investors did not want to, or the backers of IT, Goodlat's office, none of them wanted that information.
Right.
So it was kept very much within the EDA. She wouldn't tell me, she told me very little about any of that information up until it was actually known to the council. So where I knew more details about a lot of other projects before the council did, just because of a relationship with her,
Right.
or through Mike Graham. Frankly, when Mike runs his mouth too.
Yeah.
I love the man, but he does.
He likes to talk.
Yeah. Before some other council members on this particular project, I knew almost as much, or just as little, I should say, as everybody else. So she just would let me know that there was a big project coming, that it was backed by, there were some Chinese backers, but I knew that much. I knew Goodlad was done all the vetting and all the background and all the ownership. I knew that the McAuliffe administration wanted to take credit for it, and they backed Goodlad, and then there was a little, probably why the DEQ slowed their feet a little bit on this whole thing.
Or a lot.
So those are, I mean, I knew those things, but when it came to EB visas or anything like that, I didn't know. When I came to find out about the academy,
Right.
I certainly didn't know about, we just knew, she said it was an anonymous donor, and they did not want to have their name known.
Okay.
So
Do you know about any kind of discord or anything with the EDA board specifically?
No. No.
Specifically anything with Llewellyn, Ron Llewellyn?
On the, not on that board, I could probably tell you things that I think Ron Llewellyn's involved with,
Right.
but no, I mean, I don't know that any, there's certainly been some allegations, I guess, or rumors about a lot of conflicts with him and his properties, and the fact that he owes hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes to the county and sits on a board that's appointed him.
Right.
Jim Eason being the vice president of First Bank and financing some of these projects when he was still for. So I mean, are there some conflicts and questionable things? Yeah, I think those have been.
Yeah.
But I would also just chalk it up to somewhat that's the way business has been done in this town for a long, long time. Right or wrong.
Unfortunately, yeah. I know.
That's just the way it is. So.
Are you familiar with the HEPTAD LLC?
It's another one of those out there with the. Is that Ron's? I don't remember. His is Swan's. His is Swan Estates.
Well, it's the
HEPTAD was the one Daniel Pond represented, right?
yes. Yeah, HEPTAD. Well, no, actually, I take that back.
No, who represented Melinda Lewis?
That was drawn up by. That's correct. HEPTAD was drawn up by Doug Napier. Doug Napier. It's with the Swan Farm.
Okay.
Because they were mentioned in the Leach's Run. They also have they just filed for an extension with filing their plans, their site project for the 400. It's slated for 450
So that's
residential houses.
Ron owns, and then sitting on the board where the Lakeshore
I
Run
think
was.
Ron and a few other people.
Right.
That are members of the board, or just.
I don't know. I guess I think part of that board.
Yeah, I just was curious if you had known anything about that, if you've heard anything about those and that group.
No, and now that you mentioned, I do remember hearing people complaining, or I can't remember who it was, pointing out, it probably was Stan Brooks, frankly, that Ron here is going to reap a windfall because we're putting Leach's Run in there, and it's going to benefit positively his property. But I always Stan complains as much as anybody I ever met.
Yes.
So I mean, I only take half of what he says at face value. Cause
He's a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
But you know, some of those things are valid because
Yeah.
when you take that land and only a few people know that land is going to come up, and you got a group that's ready to pounce on that, and then fingers, related to this person and that person. And it has been how business has been run here for a long time.
I mean, so part of it, I mean, when you say that very few people knew, I don't know if it was because I was in the know, but I mean, Leach's Run has been talked about for 30 years, and I knew it was coming, and so I guess I don't really realize what's public information and what's not public information. I'm not acting on it for my personal gain, so I'm not trying to differentiate between the two, but obviously there are people that are insiders that are sitting on that property and know. I can't remember who owned the hospital property. Was that Duncan's, or was that Forrest and Duncan, or the property?
They're the ones that own that?
Owned it. I thought maybe not. I don't remember.
You're talking on the east side of the Leach's Run Parkway?
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought, well, I'm not going to speculate any.
I can't remember who was doing it, but there was questions I think about even that, because it's a small community. We all sit on everything.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can be any help, but that's, when it comes to your initial question, I don't want to say it was Norma Jean because I don't remember it necessarily specifically. I do know that Norma Jean called me, and especially after she was fired from the radio station, and she felt that it was because of her digging into this matter, and that somebody called Andrew and put the hammer to Andrew.
I had heard that too.
That's her theory, and then she kind of asked me to look into this stuff. I did look into it to some extent. I didn't find anything that I felt was really overly concerning to me. I mean, but I'm not an investigator either, so maybe I'm.
But within the last 5 months, I would say, let's talk about from February to now. You don't recall being told anything about Kurt Tran or having a conversation about him?
No. Since I've been off the council, I've not had any. I'm not privy to any knowledge on any of that stuff. I haven't talked about it to anybody. I know as much as you do from reading the paper.
When's the last time Norma Jean has reached out to you to talk to you? Has she?
About this, about anything? Last time I saw Norma Jean. Christmas.
Okay. Has she tried to call you or reach out to you and talk to you recently or within the last 3 months?
No.
No. Okay.
Roger, Norma Jean, no press at all.
Okay.
You're no longer a celebrity?
Only because my bear pictures.
Yeah.
That was right up by Jerry's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 big bears.
Oh yeah. I don't have anything for.
No, I don't either.
I mean, told you it was going to take about 30 minutes, and we talked about other stuff too. So.
Okay.
We're good. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate you coming in here, Brett.
It was good to see you.
Let's see. Hopefully it's dried out. We'll let you at the. Oh, you can get the front of the back.
I go to my car's right around the corner.
Okay.